Hello again, everybody. Paul Rogers here. We're back at Table Talk, and we are on our second episode of Table Talk. And in this episode, I want to talk to you about when is the right time to downsize, right? You think about it a lot of times, and those are going to be one of the questions we're going to ask ourselves. And I've guided families through this process of every stage of the process of buying or selling a home. And for that 35 years that I've been a realtor, quote unquote realtor, if you remember from episode 1, I talked to what it was and how I felt about that word realtor. Yes, technically that's what I am, but what I really like to consider myself more than anything is a professional advisor, a real property asset advisor, simply because real property, a home that you're going to buy, is definitely an asset. And so I think, with that, what we look for, because of my experience, basically allows me to serve as your trusted advisor. I've helped the clients in this market, but also I look at the condition of the house before, during and during the time that we're going to have it inspected. Some of the cost involved, some of the strategies for making an informed decision, whether you're selling and or buying. In this particular case, we're talking about downsizing. So what I do a lot of times with folks is we'll go in and we'll do a pre-inspection, figure out what's wrong or what the situations are with the house. Every situation is just an opportunity for a solution. It's not a problem. I don't look at them as problems. I look at them as situations, and we can find a solution to fix that. So my goal basically isn't to simply help you, in this particular case, sell your house and or to buy your next house, but it's to provide you honest guidance, education, and a peace of mind every step of the way. And and the reasons that one, I'm doing the Table Talk, and as I explained in the other episodes, is most of our decisions in life with you and your family have probably involved being right here where I'm at the kitchen table. And that's where a lot of things happen, and the stress that comes, even somebody like myself, there's a lot of stress. And and the emotions that come in, with making a move. And so I'm not just talking to you as a real estate professional. I'm basically speaking again from my personal experiences that I've had. I know what it's like to leave a home filled with memories, making a difficult decision financially about starting over in a new community. And that's why approach every client, and to become their trusted advisor. Again, not sharing just my professional knowledge, but the lessons that I've learned about walking this journey myself and my family. And one of the hardest questions here for retirees, move, and knowing when it's time to move. And so the decisions about moving, they can be varied. I have clients that move because they want to be near their kids or their grandkids, or maybe they're in a state that maybe the taxes are too high, or maybe there's other outside contributing factors that say, we've just we've had our share, we're done. We're going to go to a more conducive climate, maybe a more conducive place, to start over again, or maybe again you're moving back to be, closer to your kids or your other family, or just maybe there's other, there's just other reasons. You just want to try something new, and that's okay. That's perfectly, that's perfectly okay. And so, when it comes time to that, the part about the moving, that I think is important is for somebody like myself to come in, sit down at the table with you, talk to you about what's involved in the move, whether it's moving up, away from the house you have now, and that's everything from who's going to pack you and who's going to move you, and what the costs are associated with doing those types of things. And then you're going to get on the road, and what are you doing there? And then when you get to your place, moving in, and maybe you've made the decision, you've already come down, let's say to Arizona where I'm at, you've come down, we've identified the house, we've got an offer, it's been accepted, now we have the keys to the house, and now you're moving. So that, and then you're going to have questions about the move that you're doing in the neighborhood, and those are the things that I'm going to help you with. And you evaluate your lifestyle. Well, what type of lifestyle do you want to live now? Do you have hobbies that you've always wanted to do? You've maybe kind of dabbled around the outside edges a little bit. Whatever your hobby is, maybe kind of identify that in your own mind. Like, this is the kind of hobby I'd like to pursue, in a different type of lifestyle. Another big thing comes in is your finances. For the most part, most people have done pretty well on their financing, whether you're drawing Social Security, or you've had a great investment advisor over the years, or your 401k, or your employer, other benefits from your employer that you have, and just your savings that you've been able to accumulate. And then if you have the sale on your current home that you're looking at, you're going to have net proceeds on that. And so a lot of times, is it better to pay cash, or are we going to finance? Well, if you finance, I can help you with that as well. I've got lenders I've worked with for over 30 years, very interested in what we do together to take care of you in those regards. So, the finances are something most certainly you want to talk to your accountant about, and your wealth advisor, and how are you going to outlay, expenses, and, what's really involved. Are you debt free? Are you still carrying expenses, etc.? So those are all things to ask, typically your wealth advisor, to say, what do we pay off? What do we do? We want to have X amount every month, coming in. Maybe that's from your Social Security benefits. So you got to look at that. When's the best time to retire with Social Security? Right now I believe it's 60, when you're at 66 years and 6 months, it's pretty close thereabouts. You can draw full benefits. Plus you can still also work on the side, and it doesn't cut into your benefits. If you start taking Social Security earlier than that, then you're going to have implications about how much you can draw out, whether you can do side jobs, and and how that basically comes into play. Excuse me. So you got to think about your finances, and I think that's a lot of times with retirees, is that planning, that forward planning. And it's not when you're getting ready to retire. Now, some people have been pretty blessed, and they've got a lot of cash on hand, or their investments have done well, so maybe that's not a consideration. This move, and where you're moving to, your new home, not a house, we want to make it your home. And so your new home, you should think about all these little accoutrements that are going to go along with the location of the home. And then, location is another thing, we think about. And, that could be health. Do you need to be near a hospital, or are you in good health? Are you a veteran? Do you need to be close to a Veterans Administration Center? Or, as myself being a veteran, one of the outpatient clinics is literally right down the road, 10 minutes from where I live. And the main hospital is over in Phoenix. I live in the West Valley of Arizona. And it's only about 45 minutes away. But you want to look at those things, and think about your Medicare or your Medicaid, and how those things are going to affect your health, because your health affects your wealth. So those are really important considerations. How is your health? And again, back to the lifestyle. So as your advisor, I can help you identify those types of places, and see really what areas or what communities that you might want to consider living in. So those are all questions. And so with a lot of my clients, we talk about things right here at the kitchen table. Again, when I have clients in town, I like to bring them over to my home. We can go to the office, but a lot of these things are virtual nowadays. And so I like to bring people into my home, which is right behind me, my living room. And so the reason is you may not know what to ask, but I want to be able to give you the confidence to make informed decisions. Information is powerful. And with the advent of everything that's out there right now in technology, you have a tremendous amount of resources to pull information that maybe I haven't thought about, but maybe you come to me and you say, hey, Paul, what about this or what about that? And so hopefully we're going to be able to look at that. And again, whether you're ready to move, next month, next year, 6 months, or you just simply want to learn a little bit more. I hope these conversations I'm having with you right now are going to help you. And I want to thank you for just taking a few minutes out of your day to talk or to listen to me. Hopefully you're going to call me and we're going to talk. But again, I'm Paul Rogers. I look forward to seeing you next week on another Table Talk discussion. Until then, take care and remember, every successful move begins with a conversation. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much and have a good day. Bye.